All right, yeah. So Luis Gil, his fastball it was unhittable, literally. Averaged 97.7 miles per hour and touched 100. 34.8% whiffs on his fastball, which on a fastball is pretty unheard of. And he did not allow a hit on the pitch. He threw 52 fastballs, 17 changeups, which averaged 91 miles an hour, and 15 sliders, which averaged 88 miles an hour. So all of his stuff is hard. Everything's 88 miles an hour and
The
above.
slider, though, compared to a lot of
10 miles an hour, 10 mile an hour off.
The difference is good. And like, that's not all that hard. Like there are guys that throw it a little harder, touch the low 90s. Like he's got some difference. He's got a good, deduct or miss plus minus on his fastball and breaking stuff, which is awesome to see, especially with someone who has such an electric fastball.
But he was pulled with 2 outs in the 5th inning at 84 pitches, so he could not get the win on Monday.
Yeah. And clearly 85 was the number that they were
Yep.
looking at and didn't want him to start another batter.
He was frustrated. I don't think he was like frustrated necessarily with Boone or anything. I think he was frustrated with himself because he did walk 3 guys. He got into trouble in the 3rd. He lost the strike zone a bit. But
one of those walks was a strikeout that wasn't called, for the record, but yeah.
But his stuff was electric enough where even when he put runners on base, Arizona was really not able to touch him. So that start from Gil should have fans very excited. And I guess because if 85 was the number, that's made sense to pull him. And for someone like Gil, they're going to stick to that plan, even if it means an out before. It just like sucks when it's like 1 out away. Because who knows, maybe he gets a first pitch pop-up on his 85th pitch. But you can't risk that when he could have a 9-pitch at bat.
Yeah, and whatever. It's this early in the season. I still, the confidence wise, I'm more about like, hey, give him that last out. See if he can get out of it. What does 5 pitches at the end of the day mean? Does it really mean anything? Does eight more pitches mean anything? It doesn't. Like it does not.
Well, I mean, we remember you mentioned something about the Yankees and a little bit of a change in philosophy and how they're evaluating workload in game. And so it's maybe not the pitch number, but what is the ramifications of going extra pitches? Like fatigue can cause injury. Fatigue can obviously cause a breakdown in mechanics and missed location and all of that stuff. Even if you're still throwing 97 miles an hour, if you're tired throwing 97 miles an hour, you can injure yourself.
You absolutely can. And I'm sure that plays into it. I think the number was more prevalent for that particular start. But when you look at the team that Luis Gil faced as well against, and the success that he had with that fastball is really a promising number, I think, because when you look at the makeup of the Diamondbacks are they're a scrappy team. They get on base a lot. They press the base paths a lot. And they couldn't hit his fastball. Like you have guys on there that can make good contact, and they weren't able to get a good read on it. It looks like free and easy velocity. It's got movement, and from watching the game, the splits are what you just mentioned. But it felt like he was throwing that fastball almost every single pitch. Like he's just like, you know what, you can't touch this, so I'm just going to continue to throw it. And the way that his mechanics right now look so good. And I think that he's cleaned them up, and he looks more sound than when he first came up. And he just looks like a more proportioned athlete. I don't know if you I was watching some of the highlights of him when he came up a couple years ago before Tommy John, and you could just tell that he's matured, physically matured as a player as well. And he looks really good. He looks strong. He's got sound mechanics, and I think the sound mechanics are really going to help him with his control. Obviously that's a big piece, finding that release point to consistently hit that same point over and over again from different pitches. But if he can rely on that fastball and he can pepper the zone with that fastball, and then on a given day he has that slider, or maybe he's off a little bit, if he can rely on that fastball and feel confident that he can throw that thing on a dot, he's going to have a lot of success. And I said this before, like this is definitely the guy that reminds me absolutely the most of Luis Severino when he came up. That electric fastball, some off-speed stuff. He doesn't have the exact same demeanor as a Severino, but my God, that fastball looks very, very good. And, with confidence, that kid's just going to continue to get better. So let's hope that the confidence can continue and he can stay around the strike zone, because that's 1000% his Achilles heel.